Hello there. I'm Daniel Newgarden. I am a Cogut Institute Undergraduate Fellow. I'm finishing up my undergraduate degree in Archaeology in the Ancient World and Egyptology and Assyriology. My project, tentatively titled Archaeophilia and Dynastic Aggrandizement in Late Hellenistic North Syria, explores how Antiochus I, king of Commagene in the 1st century BC, incorporated references to much earlier Iron Age art of the 8th and 7th centuries BC into the art that he commissioned for his dynastic sanctuaries, especially his most spectacular and best preserved one atop Mount Nemrud in modern-day Turkey. This sanctuary is the central focus of my thesis. It's a complex monument, flanked on the east and west by two terraces featuring a row of monumental seated statues of Antiochus and his syncretic Greco-Persian deities, as well as animal statues and relief stelae featuring images of him shaking hands with his gods and images of his ancestors. Archaeologists and art historians have grappled with how to discuss and interpret this artistic program and the sources that Antiochus drew on in devising it for over a century. Recent scholarship has emphasized, correctly, that he did something not entirely unusual for a ruler of the Hellenistic world at that time. Creating a sanctuary to honor a ruler, their dynasty, and their patron gods was not entirely out of the ordinary. Even his particular claim to both Greek and Iranian identities, from Alexander and the Seleucids on the one side to Darius and the Achaemenid Persians on the other, was not unique and was also expressed by his regional peers, including and most notably Mithridates VI of Pontus. What's unique about Antiochus' sanctuary, beyond its exceptional preservation, is the way in which these particular works were executed. Colossal statues were common, but these colossal statues are exceptional in their rigidity of pose, their strict frontality, and the lack of definition for bodily features or drapery. Images of royal ancestors were common, but these images of royal ancestors are unique for being executed in low relief stelae. Rather than view these differences as shortcomings on the part of the artists, as the earliest scholarship on Nemrud Dağ did, I view them as resulting from Antiochus and his artists' adoption of characteristics from Iron Age art that would have been visible across his kingdom, and even in his capital city and palace. Art that, by his time, would already have been ancient. My arguments parallel those of earlier scholars, including and especially Teresa Gull, but I differ from them in two key ways. First, by locating the source of these ancient Anatolian characteristics to the art of the Iron Age Syro-Anatolian cities, rather than a pan-Anatolian style spreading from Lycia in the west to the Taurus in the east. And second, by viewing this similarity as a result of the deliberate emulation of this already ancient material, rather than as the result of a continuous tradition of artistic production. In explaining this emulation, I reference recent developments in the study of comparative antiquarianisms, especially the framework of Archaeophilia, defined as the widespread human urge to engage with and make historical claims using material remains of the past, developed by my advisor here at Brown, Felipe Rojas. I've already viewed the most relevant literature on Nemrud Dağ, and I'm now working on formal analysis of the art at the site, where I lay out in detail the parallels between Antiochus' work and Syro-Anatolian art. After this, I'm going to turn towards establishing Archaeophilia as the key for understanding the source of these parallels, and then adding a chapter placing Antiochus' Archaeophilia in context alongside that of other kings in the region, and essentially what people of lower status were doing in his own backyard. Particularly exciting at this stage is seeing just how much evidence there is beyond Nemrud Dağ, the main focus of my research. For instance, Antiochus patronized an ancient sanctuary to the Syro-Anatolian storm god at Doliki, just outside his kingdom of Commagene. And the period of his rule and his patronage of the site corresponds roughly to the period when we see a sudden resurgence in the production of images of the Syro-Anatolian storm god, after a centuries-long hiatus. This makes it abundantly clear that Antiochus' Archaeophilia was part of a broader picture of people in late Hellenistic North Syria looking to the Iron Age past. And it's now clear that this was not just a vernacular tendency, but reached even to the highest levels of the regional elite. Thank you.